Hey everybody, how's it going? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we have a pretty sweet grab bag in front of us, and I'm excited to explain how it works and then how I will be unboxing. So basically, this is from West Coast Varieties from Spencer over there. He's a good friend of mine. We talk a lot, and we do some deals. He said, I can send you a few more grab bags because I wanted to, send you some, but he sent this. This is $400 worth, and he said to split it up into two, get two videos out of it, and not drag on the video for too long. So I originally thought that this was a 1971 set, so I was taking a look, and I had bought this with a couple of other, a ton of slab coins that were relatively cheap that I had purchased. So this came in the bag. This ended up being just coins inside, so I'm excited to kind of go through that. I haven't looked at what's over there. I have some good ideas about these two, but I'll try to get them on camera and get some close-ups for you. And then in here, there's also looks like a ton of individual kind of raw coins. So I'll be breaking this up into two, but I'm not sure, I don't want to break it up into two and then look at every item to separate out the value. So I think what I'm going to say is I'm going to put this like that, and then I'm going to go with these other items, and if I'll unbox this stuff first, and if it's too, if it's, the value may not be 200 and 200, it may be 150 and 250, but we're going to start with this grab bag. I'm really excited to see what we've got. Ooh, should I, no, I'm not going to flip it over, and we'll kind of go through this, and then next video will be right here, but he's West Coast Varieties on Instagram. I'll have a link to his links below, and I'm excited to get started with this stuff because the last grab bag they sent me was absolutely awesome. So let's go item by item here and learn a little bit about history, probably some errors, and whatever cool coins he decided to throw in there. And I'm really excited to get started. So I'm going to go with the stuff that we can kind of see first, especially this one, just because I saw it said 50 cents DDO on it already, and that's going to mean double die obverse. For those of you that do not know, the United States Special Mint set, it's similar to like a proof set, except they did not make them in 65, 66, and 67 on the proof sets. Instead, they had these Special Mint sets, and yeah, you can see packaged by the U.S. Mint. They would kind of come in a long, it was like a long box, but he clearly has hunted that this is actually a variety in the Special Mint set. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in. There's probably like 4 or 5 different errors on the 1966 Special Mint set half dollar. And I'm trying, it's probably going to definitely be something where you need magnification to see it. And most of them are going to be in the In God We Trust. I think that there's one where it's in the B, but I think I feel like I can see a little bit of doubling, but maybe I'll try to get some close-ups. I recently kind of revamped my my close-up, my USB microphone, so maybe I can get some photos of that. Then over here, and I'm not sure exactly what of the double dies that one is. Because I know that there are a bunch, and its condition looks decent actually, so there could be some serious value. So let's go through what this is, and I'll see if I can read what that says. It says paid. Ooh, I'm not there's definitely something. Maybe it's punched through to be canceled, but this says 50 from 1862. So this was during the Civil War, probably in Atlanta. The Western and Atlantic Railroad will pay the bearer 50 cents in current banknotes whenever the sum of $5 or upwards in these bills is presented. So this was not good for any money until you had it, and 50 cents back then was actually a fair amount. Though one thing that I've heard historically is that transportation was quite expensive. It's really gotten relatively cheap. Even if the dollar amount has gone up, it's been far more cheap than it is relative to what it used to be. So here, this looks like a 25 cents example, also from 1862. We'll see if we go down the line. I've got no idea what the value on this is, but I really like historical things, so this was a great inclusion from my perspective. This also says, let's see if we can figure out what this is saying here. Paid, and then it says O. I feel like that says OO as well. So I'm not totally sure, but let's see what this is. Payable in the payment of taxes and all dues to the state and to the Western and Atlantic Railroad. Yeah. So, not something I know a ton about. And then here it looks like there's another 50 cents. This one looks maybe in slightly better condition. That one looks like from July 1st. So these are not all from the same. Oh yeah, you can see the number here: 7396 4715. Very very cool. I kind of like. Yeah, I just like that sort of thing. Next we've got, and this is gonna. It's a little bit different not having an exact target. I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't look like there's anything down there. An exact target in terms of how many coins we're trying to, or how much value we're trying to get out of it, which is also kind of fun because we can just focus on the individual cool items. And we'll start with this little patch. So it looks like it says miscellaneous, lamination defect. So let's see what he means by that. Oh, there we go. So there's the lamination error. You can definitely see that in the Buffalo as it was being struck. I actually should know better about how the lamination errors come about. There you go again. But you can definitely find them. They're one of the easiest errors to find on modern stuff. And this is cool because they still have the date on it. So it's like a 1914 with some notable lamination defects. I mean, maybe that's, there could be some value there. I'm not an expert on the mint errors. It's often quite challenging to really find what something is going to be worth because there's often the price history doesn't really make a ton of sense, or it's not like super cohesive. So it can be a little bit of a challenge there. Next up, we've got some clip planchets, and these ones definitely look like they're clip planchets. Sorry for that brief cut, but this one's Indian head cent. You can actually see most of the lettering in Liberty, so it's kind of a fun error that I would imagine has some value, and you can see it on both sides. Often on clip planchets, you can see a little weakness on the other side. It's probably not like a guarantee, but that can often mean that it was pretty genuine. You can see maybe a little bit of weakness on the other side of the rim there, but it's not as apparent as I've seen on some other examples. Here you can definitely see, it's been clipped there, and then here at the strike, that's like one of the telltale ways for most coins and metals, at least. Yeah, you can see there again, clipped over here, and then you have that weakness 180 across. In this case, maybe the aluminum is a little bit different. I don't know what this is even. 1 Thebe. And you don't see the cross weakness, but this one is from Botswana. Wow, I don't even know if I have coinage from Botswana. This may be going into my personal collection, one from every issuing entity. The Pula, it says there. I don't really know what that means, but 1976, very cool coin. That's awesome. That's kind of a nice surprise. Let's check out our next find, 1960 D over D. Large over small date. Ooh, and there should be a pretty big looking. I don't know if it's a repunched mint mark as well, or if that's just the dies over each other. But I'll zoom in. You should be able to see it. You can definitely see the repunched mint mark right there. It's like a northern repunching, and then I think it's pretty clear as well. You can see a little bit in the top of the O, and then really in that 6 is another telltale place that you can look for it. But a nice error coin to start us out here. And again, on the valuations, I'm a little more lost, but that's a nice, kind of red brown maybe, but it's still got a lot of luster on it. Very cool error coin that I'm excited to be putting in my personal collection. So that one, happy to have picked up. Let's see, let's do something a little bit different over here. Looks like a 1984 Kennedy. There seems to be multiple. This one says. That looks like a struck through on, it says right there, but I think this one's also going to be struck through. I'll take it out of the elimination out of the flip just to show you a little bit better. Right there, you can see it's I don't know exactly what it's been struck through. Maybe a tiny bit of cloth, something else. But when they were striking the coin, it did not imprint solely onto the coin. There was something that got pushed into the planchet a little bit, and as such, you've got that little error, and it can be challenging for newer people to recognize, and I wouldn't say I'm 100% accurate in terms of recognizing when something's struck through and when something is, post-mint damage. But that one is certainly a struck through error. And then, 1918 struck through obverse. I'm excited to see what that is, and it feels like there's something in the back as well. This one, 1983. Oh yeah, there's a very clear struck through Kennedy's kind of ear region, his top of his jawbone, 1983 P. Some of the uncirculated 1983 coins can be a little more challenging to come by, but I think that that's more for the quarter. I don't know if that, carries over to the $50, but you can, the struck through apparent there as well. And then here, also, whoa, clear struck through obverse. I would have not sure if that is a lamination error or not, but certainly right there, very clear, minor mint error. I always find, struck through obverse. So interesting to get a little bit of a lesson on those right there. And I'm going to probably put a lot of these in individual flips going forward. Ooh, here we have a S over S 1947 silver dime, repunched mint mark 004, which is FS 504. So I'm going to zoom in on that and see if we can't see it immediately. And we may not be able to. But I recently did a PowerPoint on a lot of the silver dimes that you should be looking for. And, this one seems to be in decent shape. I always find them interesting to be on the lookout for. And I mean, West Coast, Spencer, owner of West Coast Varieties, who sent me this stuff, really is like one of the top people at finding this. So it was really exciting. And I'm going to, let's see, this one looks pretty cool. So we got a 1969D repunched mint mark in uncirculated condition. Let's see if we can, how easy it is. I think it's this one, you can see kind of, I think it's coming out of the top of the, kind of like the north. It's almost like it's wearing a little party hat, a spike. And that's in nice condition. And that could certainly have quite a bit of value to it. As well as, let's see, 1969, another repunchment mark, same year. This one, I believe, is more of like a, well, maybe there's a large one protruding. It's tough to see with the metal lines if that's actually what we're looking at, or if it's kind of just like a twisted, a bit of a tilted, so to speak, repunching. But both coins that I've talked about in other videos, great to see them in person. And 1969, it's easy with the Denver because you can look at repunchment marks with both the dime and the quarter. Then right here, we've got some 2 overmint marks. Very cool. So I assume that means D over S. And I should know my Buffalo errors a little bit better. Though I don't, and I'm trying to think, maybe there's a little bit of protrusion kind of right out of the bottom side of the coin, or the bottom side and the bottom top. So a neat coin for sure. Let's see if the other one's a little clearer, but I think that with these, I think that there's definitely a repunchment mark D over D. So I'm not sure which one we are looking at, because I'm certainly not an expert on this, but I feel like you could see a little bit when you really look for it, something coming out of the northwest corner. And I think that this would really be helped if I can augment it with some photos from my my magnifier. And it looks like at this point we've got 3 left. I've been eyeing this Morgan dollar, so let's see. On the back, there's no mint mark, so it's going to be a Philadelphia coin. This is saying VAM3 large dot. Ooh, so I assume that has to do with one of the dots on the front of the coin, but I could be totally off, because VAMs is another thing. I'd like to do some videos on them, but I really have not. And the only dots that I'm thinking of would be these ones, and maybe that one's a little bit larger. But 1884, it's fun. Let's see on the back if there's any dots that are super apparent. No, I mean, it looks like a problem-free coin. It's been circulated, but certainly kind of has a nice eye appeal, in my opinion. And I think it's got to be something to do with that little dot there. And it's interesting, or maybe it's something down there. I don't know. But Morgan dollars, what a classic coin. So always fun to have some. I think that's the first VAM that I'm going to own now, because often with grab bags I'll kind of repackage a lot of what I get and put it in grab bags that I sell. But for a lot of this sort of thing, I've been holding on to it because I just find the coins super interesting that we get. So what does this say? It says this is misaligned. Here, let's see. Here's some railroad rims. So let's start with the railroad rims. These are, it's almost like, I feel like these are kind of like partial collar. I'm pretty sure that that's like basically the same thing. But you can see, it looks like they're a little bit struck off center, but it's more that they've, I think that it tilts a little bit in the die as it's being struck, and then you get these situations where you have, yeah, exactly. The rim has not been perfectly struck. It's like half struck, and then half of it, maybe looks like how a railroad would look like. I wish I could explain it better, but I did not do my homework before this video, so we're just kind of rolling with it here. Same thing. You can see the rim; it's running along like half of the actual rim, and then it kind of carries over into the fields. It certainly looks a little bit different, at least. And these seem to be the railroad rims from Maryland, but they're very apparent on these. Very cool. And here, it looks like it's covering most of the coin, but I believe that it's because there's a little bit of a tilt in terms of the coins as they're getting struck, but that could be quite off. Yeah, wow. And there you can even see kind of the rim creeping onto the obverse of the coin. Such a cool mint error. I really like coins for that reason. You could collect and have an insane knowledge without even covering US or error coins. I mean, and there's so much within errors and varieties. It's something I like to talk about just because I find them fascinating, despite the fact that I only find some, from time to time. Here is a final one, a 5th railroad rim, and I would think that these are worth like a few bucks at least. This one, let's see, misaligned DC. We'll see what that means. This one looks a little bit, maybe it's off center is what the oh, whoa, no way, die cap. I think that is seriously cool. Check that out. Wow. 2000 South Carolina. This coin is totally different from the average quarter that's rolling around out there, and it almost looks like a bottle cap or something, but totally miscut. I assume that that's die cap, and originally it looked like it was kind of off center, and it is off center. I wasn't sure if it was like a broad strike or some sort of thing. I assume that it's die cap, and I apologize. I'll be editing down here exactly what we're looking at, but I haven't seen coins like this in the past, and it seems to have the full strike of the coin, but maybe it was struck partially out of collar. And these are all these good-looking South Carolina ones here. So very, very neat. Wow. And let's see, it looks like they have all been struck with similar, maybe these were all in a row or something, or all from the same bulk bag. Very cool. And it looks like some of them are getting progressively more, they have the error more and more as they go along. So maybe this was like a run from the mint. Like this, you can tell that something's a little bit off, but it doesn't look quite as pronounced as some of the stuff, some of the coins we first looked at. So that's a very neat group of 5 that I'll be keeping together as well. And the last one, 1955 double die obverse. Whoa. It is the Denver version, so that's obviously important. The one to look for that's, thousands of dollars, which Spencer would unlikely have been to send me. This is a little bit different, but I think that it's either found in the Liberty or parts of the date, and it's different from the poor man's double die, which is really just kind of the die deterioration. But overall, the coins, this is it's a cool error. I'm not sure if it's has a FS number, but this is quite a hunt here. I think that we did very well. Certainly I'm happy with the results, and thank you so much to Spencer, and I'm excited to get into whatever is inside. Let's get here, this set, and in the box of what looked like proof sets, but is going to be some far more interesting coinage. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and definitely subscribe to the channel and connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a website, treasuretownYT.com, where you should go so that you can learn more about coins as well as what's happening on the channel and possibly find a place to sell your coins and collectibles. I also want to talk about some of my other projects like coinmeltprice.com, which shows precious metals prices as well as the melt values of coins containing those precious metals, both US and world. I also have coinsmetalscards.com, which will develop into a full marketplace, as well as a news source for coins, metals, cards, as the name might suggest. And then treasuretowncoins.com, which long-term will be my coin dealing entity separate from the channel. And lastly, whatsthegrade.com, which will be a stickering service for already certified collectibles where you can get a approval or verification of the grade on the holder. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos.